Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is under mounting pressure to suspend arms sales to Israel, as 3 former Supreme Court justices warned the UK is breaching international law by arming the country during the conflict in Gaza. The growing calls follow Israeli airstrikes in Gaza this week that killed 7 aid workers, including 3 Britons. The Prime Minister has described the situation as increasingly intolerable. While a British ban on arms sales to Israel would be largely symbolic, it would send a strong message to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Ministry of Defence figures show that exports to the country totalled £42 million in 2022, representing just 0.02% of Israel's military imports that year. Well, for more on this, I was earlier joined in the studio by our Downing Street correspondent, Simon Pusey. So, Simon, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has demanded an investigation in a call with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. This is, of course, because 3 Britons were killed in that Israeli airstrike. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, well, I think as far as diplomacy goes, the words that were used in that conversation compared to the start of the crisis, and obviously Britain and America are very staunch allies of Israel and always defended the right for them to defend themselves. Yeah. But if you look at the diplomatic language there, it was very strong. It was talking of this being appalling. And for some time now, both Joe Biden and Rishi Sunak and both countries' defence secretaries have been talking about the need for them to offer more aid access, to protect civilians more, and pressure is just growing on Benjamin Netanyahu. It sounds like he doesn't care so much really actually what people think, which is interesting because he's being backed by the USA a lot, and without the USA they would really struggle, I think, to buy the kind of arms that they are. But I think this really is a crossroads, and it's a shame that it's taken 3 British aid workers, 7 in total, 3 of them British, to very sadly die from what looks like a pretty targeted attack. For this to really really come to this, because we've seen obviously close to 40,000 people dying, mainly innocent women and children in Gaza. So it's kind of, history. I'm not sure we'll be on the right side of history when it comes to looking at this, but pressure is certainly mounting, and so now we've got lots of recommendations to stop selling arms, the UK to stop selling arms. Now, how big a impact that would have would be negligible because it's very small, the amount, but it would really send a signal and might start something that the USA then follow, because the Israeli government clearly are not listening to what the Americans and what other countries are saying, and haven't been for quite some time. And there's still this potential invasion of Rafah, which is the only safe place that Israel has told Gazans they can go. So it's all incredibly sad, and of course the whole conflict has been incredibly sad. But it's almost, it's really quite shocking that it's taken these 3 aid workers for a lot of British politicians and people to start speaking out. Obviously, we've seen marches every week for months in aid of Gaza here in London. But yeah, it's a shame that it's really come to this, because now it seems political tensions are really ratcheting up on Israel and Netanyahu and the government. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you.